my picture? Good morning, Debbie. We're on. Oh, you're on mute.
There. Okay.
There you go.
Can't have that.
Hey, Stace.
Hi.
We have our own little club meeting
Yeah.
while we wait.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Let me see. I just saw the record thing go through.
I'm here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sorry about all the Zoom stuff.
Is that Sharon? Is that you?
Sorry, I didn't identify myself. Yeah, it's me.
Okay. Are we in the right meeting?
You're here. You're in the right meeting.
Okay. Okay.
It hasn't. You're not here yet.
Didn't it start at 12:30?
No. Did it say 12:30? I think it said it. Okay, so sometimes it's 12:30 when I have 4 or 5 consents. If it's 1 to 3, it starts at 12:45.
12:45. Okay, so we're starting a few minutes still.
Okay. So, somewhere along the way, I had the conceptual review start at 12:30. But
Well,
okay.
sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think last time we did, but
It does change. So
Okay.
sorry for that confusion. I have to adjust it when there's consent items on there.
So I'm sorry. So what time will we start? Just so I can.
45, but I'm going to mute you guys right now. I'm
Okay.
going to mute myself. I'm trying to do something. Thanks.
Okay. Likewise. Yeah, I'll do the
Okay.
same.
see you in a bit.
Okay.
Oh. Hmm.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Sharon. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Good. Good. Yeah. That's the best we can do.
Yes, I thought that was pretty good, actually.
No, I thought it
All
was.
things considered.
Oh, I do too, because I was going to be like, but you know what? That's good. We're hanging in there. It's better than most.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi,
David,
John.
and do we have Claire yet?
Don't see her.
Hey,
Not yet.
Sharon, hello.
Hi there. Did anybody let you know that Alex Tuttle will be joining us today?
I did not know that.
Alex Tuttle will be joining us. I have to step out for a while, so I don't know what's going on there. I think David's gonna pop in, but I'll be back.
So,
We had-
Sharon,
I'm sorry.
so Sharon, item C1 is not with us because we already approved that.
That's correct.
So C2 and C3 are still with us.
Please. And then I'm just gonna tell you ahead of time, and then I'll tell you when the meeting starts again, that item on the number 2 on the regular agenda, standard agenda is dropped. And item number 5 is dropped.
Okay.
But I'll repeat that again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank
Let's give Claire one more minute. And
Alrighty.
otherwise, David, would you feel comfortable with joining me?
Sure.
Claire Gottstanker, are you with us, please?
She's not.
Okay, well, Sharon, as you know, we have quorum issues today.
Yes. I know. I know that Claire had said she would be gone at the next meeting,
Okay,
the 16th.
so David, let's get started. Is there somebody here for item C2975 Lilac Drive, please? And you may be muted.
That's Tom Meany. I sent him a Zoom invite. I don't see him,
Okay,
but everybody for C3 is here.
I saw that. Let's go ahead and start C3. So Bob and Stacy, are you here, please?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm
So
here.
how is everybody?
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bob, I did notice that you did an important update on the finish details. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And I thought that they actually looked pretty good. So down towards the bottom, David, if you haven't seen them. Right in there. And then I thought it also looked like you tightened up some sections and things of that nature. Do you agree with that as well?
Yeah. Basically, the outdoor kitchen's been all detailed, and the southern terrace, all the seat walls, retaining areas, fire pit, have sections of them.
Okay. David, I know that sometimes you look at these, sometimes you don't. Did you have a chance to look at this before the meeting?
I didn't look at these because I assumed you and Claire were, but I can see the details here.
Okay. And now the area of greater contention, the landscape drawings, please. For anybody that is watching in, we have moved on to item C3915 Park Lane. I think the greatest area of contention was on PDF page, was it 12, 14, I think, 14?
14, yeah. So I'll give you a quick summary after the last meeting. 17 of the hanging down lights, the 1 LED hanging down lights, were swapped with directional path lights per Claire's preference. And there were, except for in the most dangerous areas, because remember there's a steep drop off in several
Yes.
locations along this driveway.
Yes.
4 downlights were removed completely, and other 4 lights of other types were removed as well.
Next page, David, I think.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So total 8 lights were removed, and 17 of the hanging down lights that were objected to were changed to path lights per Claire's preference.
Okay. And David, by any chance, did you have a chance to look at this?
I'm looking at it now. I was also present at the last meeting, so I'm aware of the issues, even though I didn't chime in at that time.
Do you want to take a minute to look at it? We have some time here.
And I've noted the difference in the legend, the red numbers in the lighting legend. If you go towards the left a little more, keep going, keep going. Oh, no, it's on the,
It's up above here,
Here,
actually.
let
It's
me
up above.
do this.
There you go.
Okay.
Go to the left, to the legend. You can see the ones in red were the items that were changed from the previous. There you go. So like I said, 8 were eliminated completely. 17 of the hanging 1 LED downlights were changed to directional path lights, 1 LED directional path lights, and 4 other lights were omitted.
Do you have any questions, David? I did have a chance to review this before the meeting. David?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Where are the downlights in the trees located now? I guess would be
You
my.
see where the dark royal blue outline is?
Yes.
Yes, so that's where the ones with the arrows are the directional path lights, those
Well,
ones.
it's got, yeah, the tree lights, David, are the circles with an arrow pointing down. There are, I see 2 of them on this section.
Okay.
3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
so
Any
17
comments
were
or-
changed to path lights.
Are you okay with this, David?
Yes, I am.
And so am I, but I do want to make a quick comment. I don't think it's that important. Can you go up to the schedule, please? And in that same item where the tree lights are, it says 10.1 watt LED medium flood, equivalent to 35 watt halogen. In the schedule, it looked to me like it was I think it's a 1 watt.
It's- Yeah, that is a typo, but there's, see to the left where it has the model number FXLE-1 LED. So
Yes.
that's what that is.
Okay, and I also saw that, but it should be corrected, just so
Okay.
that the drawings are right. And I also looked up the LED to halogen conversion table. It's 7.5 to 1. So That 35 watt halogen is also incorrect.
Right, the 35 refers to the 10 watt,
Okay,
so,
so please correct and remove that so that we don't have somebody say, oh, well, they approved 35 watt, please.
not a problem.
Okay, so David, I am ready to propose to the full board that we approve this. Are you okay with that?
I am definitely.
Okay, and Claire, by any chance, have you joined us? Okay, I did not think that Tom Meany did a job at all, and I'm going to recommend continuance on item C2. It's basically the same drawings we saw last time. So
So are we
you
done?
are
on our-
done, except that we need a formal approval from the full board. We make recommendations, we do not approve it. To date, they've always taken our recommendations, but there can always be a first time. Okay? Thank
Does
you
that
very
mean we
much.
come-
Thank you very much for doing that extra effort.
Do we come back or do we
No,
just,
no, you're here. If you want to stay on, it'll be about 20 minutes, maybe 25. We have administrative things to do before we get to the consent calendar.
okay,
But
so stay on for the full board?
yeah, just for the first, you'll see when, as we deal with the consent calendar, you'll see that, Stacy.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
we'll hold.
Thank you, John.
Very good. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Robert.
Sure.
Okay.
No Tom Meany.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The drawings were not complete at all.
All right. All right, I'm gonna mute and we'll see you at 1, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what's happening here? I'm on.
Claire, how are you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, John. I had a parking problem in my parking lot.
Okay, I'd like to express forward and talk about the Bob Clammer Stacy Fawcett plan.
Okay, so did we went over C1 and C2 already?
And C3 as well. And
Oh.
Dave Mendro and I felt that the proposal that they submitted was good. Stacy is here. Had you had a chance to review that lighting, please, on C?
Yeah, I have, and I have here, and here's my notes about it.
Okay,
29 hanging lights, too many. Recommend reducing by half, and you change. Yeah, that's my recommendation.
okay, well, she's down. Stacy, you want to come back? I see you're on. You want to turn on your video. You're down to 7 now, right? Hanging lights?
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's not what's on the plan.
Yes.
That is what's on the
That
plan.
is what's
No,
on
it's
the plan.
not.
Claire, you may have an older set, but it's on my set of plans.
Oh, okay, fine, then that's fine. And is the readout, the printout that on the plans, where is, there's a box and it has all the pictures of the, and
Yep.
and how many?
Yep.
That's where it says 29.
Okay, so Dave Mendro, are you there? Can you pull up item C3 landscape again, please? Let's just get this straightened out, because I thought that they, number one, listened, and number two, did a good job. So, but let's make sure we
Done.
all.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
C3,
Okay.
The landscape plan.
yeah, the landscape plan, and then
Because
something
then
like,
I went back into the plan and I couldn't find 29. I could only find 24.
so David, it's not that one, the next one.
Yeah, it's, my computer's lagging. There it is.
Okay, right here. So
Okay.
in this, on here, I think if we make it bigger so I can see it again, I mean, I can do that from my side, but no, it's not it's the box.
You're talking about the schedule?
Yeah, that one. Can we make that bigger so we can see the numbers?
And
Okay.
Changes
Okay.
are highlighted in red.
This is correct. Okay, okay, thank you. The one that I was reading yesterday when I went through this said 29.
Okay, good. So you're good, right?
So I'm fine, yeah.
Well, Stacy, if you can get three of us, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we have about 25 seconds before the meeting. And for those.
Are we still staying on for full board at this point, or are we good?
If you wish.
You don't have to.
Well, you don't have to, but if you want, but then there's always a 10-day appeal period, which, you know, I doubt, but stay on if you like. Okay, it is now 1 o'clock. I'd like to call the June 2nd Montecito Board of Architectural Review to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on any item that is not on our agenda today, please? Okay,
No, there's no one. Thank you.
thank you, Sharon. Okay, item number 2. Do we have Alex or Kimberly or somebody? Are you around?
Alex.
Alex, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there was somebody that, you know, you guys always ask that one of your members be here. Okay, item number 2, reconsider the circumstances of COVID-19 state of emergency. I'd like to move to continue to have only virtual meetings given the current condition of COVID in the state. Is there a second for that, please?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion, please? All those in favor? Oh, what? Actually, we've got Dave, John, Claire.
And Elida.
Is Elida? I don't see Elida. Elida, you're here?
I'm here.
Excellent. So all those in favor, please?
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda status report. We're going to cut this meeting a little shorter today. So Sharon, can you share that with us?
Well, to start with the C1, the consent, the RET trust obviously got final last week. So that was a big typo. But item number 2 on the standard agenda, the Shrout additions at 1123 Glenview Road has been indefinitely dropped. Dropped.
So I will move to drop item C2.
I will second that.
What does that mean when you say that it's blocked?
And I don't have a continued date.
Oh,
Dropped.
got it. Oh, okay, okay. So it's blocked because of staff action. Okay, fine. Okay.
Maybe-
I'm going,
It's not
Okay.
blocked, it's dropped. Okay.
Dropped.
Thank Thank
Oh,
you.
dropped. Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Is there anybody that would like to discuss that, please? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed.
Oh,
Okay.
is Dawn here?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Dawn.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, so did you want to talk about item C5, please?
And then, so item on the standard agenda, booth remodel alteration, 1781 Fernald Point is also being dropped.
Dropped or continued?
Dropped. I don't have a date that it's coming, returning to.
I would move to drop item number 51781 Fernald Point from our agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any
And
discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, please?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, Dave has a conflict with that item, that's why he abstained. Okay, so anything else, Sharon?
no, thank you very much.
Okay, minutes. What did I do with the minutes?
Oh, here, I got mine here.
Okay, so minutes of May 19th. Does anybody have any comments on this, please?
No, I read them.
Anybody else? Okay, so I would like to suggest that on item number 2, comment number 3, that we change it from restudy the north and south elevation to restudy, and then I'd like to add the words, and provide fully rendered north and south elevations.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay, that's the one that had the board of the half timber English,
Yeah,
which was hard to read without having that. Okay, and then item number 5. Comment number 3, restudy relationship. This is the project up on Knapp Drive that had the old hunting lodge and the brand new building next to it. Restudy relationship between historic lodge and proposed dwelling and the proposed finishes. What the heck does that mean? Please.
restudy relationship between, well, I think what it's trying to say is the relationship between the historic building
Right,
and the proposed dwelling,
right.
you know.
What is
But
it?
I don't know why, I mean, why are we talking about finishes? I mean,
I don't know. I think that that's an irrelevant comment. I would like to strike it.
the whole thing.
Number 3.
We don't want to, we're not asking them to restudy the relationship between those two buildings. It would, we don't, yeah, I can get that.
We were provided information verbally that the historical report said, keep the historical building historical, have the new building be new. That's what we've done. I don't know why we want them to look at it any further.
Yeah, why do we want to look at proposed finishes? I mean,
Not yet,
yeah,
not, okay?
yeah. Okay, that's fine with me then.
And then the next comment, one member suggested choosing a different color, and then in parentheses, subdued hue. Well, there's hue, value, and saturation. Hue is brown, green, orange. Value is light and dark, and that's what we want them to look at.
And
So I'd
which,
like to have them take out the word hue and put in the word value.
what, is this the one on Boundary Drive?
No, this is still item number 5, comment number 4.
Member suggested choosing different colors, subdued, oh,
Subdued value, light
Okay.
and dark, not orange, green, purple,
just
you know.
choosing a different value. Whom, I wonder who made that, I mean,
John Watson made that comment.
oh,
Correct.
oh, okay, so you weren't saying, you weren't trying to say choose a different color, you were just trying to say choose a different value of.
I think so,
the-
yeah. And let them come back with whatever they want. But
Okay.
my basic comment is settle that puppy down into the landscaping if you guys can.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? And it was just a small little garage. And that's all I have. Is there anybody else that has anything, please?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Okay, so I will move to approve the minutes of May 19th
I'll
as
second that.
amended.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
aye,
All those opposed? David, are you abstaining on one item?
Yes,
Okay,
I'll
item
abstain on
5.
item number 5.
Members informational briefing. Did anyone go anywhere or do anything? Okay, I actually did go somewhere and I actually did something that I wanted to share with people. I went to the Memorial Day ceremony at the Santa Barbara Cemetery, which I do every year. And rather than going and watching exactly the same ceremony, which I've seen year after year after year, my wife and I thought it would be appropriate to go to the western side of the cemetery by ourselves and to look at the graves and thank the individuals that had flags next to their graves, which meant that they had done service. And lo and behold, in that corner was the grave for James Osborne Craig. And that monument was without a doubt the most interesting monument in the area. It was probably brass, but it was metal filigree in the shape of a cross, but extremely beautifully done. And I would recommend that if somebody needs a little something to do sometime, go up to the cemetery over near the Clark Estate, look around, you can't miss it. Really, really beautiful. Okay, anybody else?
I have something to share.
Oh, great, Elida.
I am going to be moving in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so I want all of you to pray for me.
Okay. And did you have a concept about what our prayer should include?
Money,
Money.
money, lots and lots of money.
Okay, there you go. Anybody else need a lot of money?
No, well, yes, but.
Okay, staff update, Alex, Sharon, anybody?
I just wanted to say that I'm going to be stepping out for a little bit later on, and my supervisor, David, will be stepping in, and I'll be back sometime. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Montecito consent agenda, so Stacy.
No,
this
wait
is-
a second. Did we do members? Did we finish the members informational briefings?
Well, I thought we did. Claire, did you have something you wanted to say?
I do. Because I had said that I had, last week, I said that I would not be attending the 16th of June. Because that's when I thought that I was going to be out of the country, but that actually has changed, and I am not leaving the country until the 26th of June. So I will be at the meeting of the 16th, but not the one the 30th.
Okay, thank you. Are we now done with members' informational briefing, please? Okay, Montecito consent agenda. Item C1 was dropped, so because we'd already approved it. Item C2, this is a no-show, but there was another piece of fact. Tom, you weren't here at 12:45.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to ask the board to continue your item. I felt that there were no details, no colors, no information whatsoever for final. I felt that it was good for preliminary, but not for final. So I'd like to continue. Can you get everything done and turned in for the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to suggest that the board continue item C2 975 Lilac to the next consent calendar with the applicant to provide complete final drawings. Is there
Now
a
we're just
second?
matching existing colors and details, so we'll just call that out on the plans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if you want to take a photograph or two and stick that on there, just so that people know what you're doing, please.
Okay, no problem.
Tom,
I will-
that's June 16th.
Okay,
And when does he need to get it submitted by?
He needs to figure that, I have to have it a week before, but he has to go through the planner.
So Tom, can you take responsibility for that, please? Contact the
Yes.
plan. And again, for anybody that did not know, Tom was at the Imarinari, and if he was not the very best artist up there, he was certainly in the top 2 or 3.
thank you.
I know. Yeah, it was really great. It was great.
Congratulations, Tom.
Yeah.
Excellent
Thanks a
work.
lot. It's good seeing you, John.
Yeah. Okay, and now Stacy and Bob, item number C3.
John, I think we need to second your motion on
Oh,
that.
second on that,
I'll-
thank you.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item C3, this one, we saw last meeting. At that time, the architectural details were not fully fleshed out. Bob did that work, showed it to us today. Nice job, in my opinion. Also, Claire and I felt that there was, according to the standards we've been applying, way too many lights, site lighting. Stacy took the bull by the horn, came back, reduced it, tightened up the project. And both of us at this point feel it is ready for a preliminary and final approval. And to that extent, I'd like to move for preliminary and final with the following comment, that the schedule for the tree lights be corrected to show the correct wattage. And besides that, is there a second, please?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you all. Okay, now,
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just get some confirmation on who's here, who's in attendance, or who's not in attendance?
okay, Bill Wolf has a personal matter today. Tip has a personal matter today, and I believe everyone else should be here today.
Okay, so there's five in attendance today.
Yes, Alex,
Yes.
thank you.
Both of them have pressing matters. Okay, item C1, conceptual review, Clark New Wall. Is there somebody here, Greg, or somebody else, please?
Yeah, I'm here, John. I'm not sure. Sharon Carroll is my assistant. The link was sent to her and then she forwarded it to me. So don't go by the name on my picture.
Sharon, you've never looked so good.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so this is an item down by the freeway. They want to propose a new, taller wall than is allowed by our Montecito land use. And I believe this is potentially precedent setting. So I'd like the board to be very thorough in its review. Greg, please go ahead. Greg?
What was that, John? I can't hear you.
Please go ahead, make your presentation.
Okay, so this is a sound wall. It's identical to the one that was approved years ago and erected by the neighbor. And it's kind of a continuation of that. The picture you see there is the neighbor's sound wall. And we would just be linking onto that and putting in where it's marked white, extending that wall out around a portion of the rear yard of our client's property.
And there are trees that are going to be interacted with?
Yes, the arborist Duke McPherson has been out there and made his mark on a tree that was close to where the east wall is. And that's tagged on our drawing there. Note, key note 5, 6. Having trouble reading that. Oak tree 18, there it is. Right there.
Oh, so it's only one that you're taking out.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not taking out. I think it's just being pruned back. Because
Oh.
There's some
yeah.
eucalyptus that are being removed, correct?
No, it says in your proposed thing, it's on you, what you're presenting, you're saying, it says that you were removing 2 eucalyptus trees. That's why I went to that.
Oh, the eucalyptus, I thought you were referring to just oaks. Yeah, 2 eucalyptus trees, note 2, yeah, right there by the cursor.
Okay, so, and are you proposing any landscaping between your wall and to the north?
No, I think they'll be taking out, we had to put the new sound wall inboard of the property line. Anywhere from 5 to 8 feet because of those 2 large eucalyptus trees along the railroad property line. They're just, we're just trying to avoid dealing with those.
Okay,
They're giants.
and do you have anything else on your presentation?
No, other than our wall is, our sound wall is pretty much identical to the neighbor on the east sound wall.
Okay.
And
So-
primarily for acoustics, the railroad goes by there and the freeway, of course, on the other side. And then it also provides privacy and security for client who's elderly, single lady, very nice. It's concerned about the transient population around by the railroad and so forth. But mostly it's primarily a sound wall.
Okay, are you done, please?
Yes.
Alex, before we get started, we are in the coastal zone, I assume, and it's well over the 6-foot height. Does this go to the planning commission then?
Correct, it's a CUP,
Yeah,
so it will require approval by the Montecito Planning Commission. So as far as sequence goes, you'd be taking it through conceptual and then reviewing it after the MPC takes action, assuming it gets approved. You'd be
Okay,
giving preliminary after that.
thank you very much.
Is the wall height 6 feet or 8 feet, the standard height?
For rear yard, I believe you can go up to, well, in the coastal zone, I'm not sure, it's 6 or 8. Front yard is for sure 6, side yards, I believe it's 8. I think 8 in the rear yard too, perhaps.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I can't remember the height of this one. I think it's 10 or 12.
they proposed 12 feet.
Yeah.
They're proposing a 12-foot, you know.
Wow.
Okay, so let's ask questions, please. Claire?
I'm just curiosity, it is, from your photographs, it looks like, I mean, the sound, what you're saying is it's a sound wall. Is there 2 sides to the wall and then you're going to put some kind of something in between the structure to make it a sound wall? I don't quite understand from looking at the plans what the intention is here. When you
Yeah,
call it a sound wall, I mean, normally that means that you're trying to stop the sound. But
Mhm.
this wall, the way it's shown as being designed, it's not really going to do that.
Well, we have I was able to review the file on the neighbor's wall, which we're looking at right now. On the left is the sound wall that the neighbor built. And there was an acoustic report done by a company called 45db.com Acoustics Consulting, David Lord, PhD. So the fact that it's a wood sound wall, it reduces, let me see if I can, I took some notes from their drawing or from the report.
From the name of his company, I would expect that every report that he does reduces the sound 45 dB.
Right. It reduces this sound level from the train and accounting for traffic noise along Highway 101 from approximately 76 decibels to 59 decibels, which is a 21% reduction.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Claire, anything else, please?
Yes, the other question was, what is the height of the neighbor's wall?
It's the same as this height that we're proposing here. It's
12
12 feet, I believe.
I don't think so, but anyway, that's fine. I'll make my comments when it's comment time.
Don Sharp?
Thank you. Have you considered the finish of the new to be not totally different than the aged wood of the existing?
I think this wood is pressure treated. And I don't know that we had considered that, Don, but
I think that's really important.
Are you talking about just the posts also?
Well, yes, any portion of the addition of the new, texture-wise and color-wise, should try and tie in with the existing.
Okay.
That's not a comment, that's a question.
No, okay. No, we hadn't considered that. We figured, I think, that in time it would look like this one.
Thank you.
David? Mr. Mandro, I can't hear you.
Is this wall visible from the north, from the freeway and from the railroad, or is it screened?
The only things that would screen that wall are the eucalyptus trees along the railroad that are there now, as you can see in the and you can see in this site map aerial on the right. Our sound wall is shown with that white line, and then the railroad tracks are right there, and you can see the trees in between the railroad tracks, and then further the freeway 101 is right there too. But you can see the trees from above in that photo.
It looks like the neighbor has some landscape planted to help screen the wall. Is that correct?
This is on our property.
Okay.
The neighbor's wall, and it's up against the neighbor's wall, and that's looking like right at the corner, right where the neighbor's wall turns and goes to the west.
West. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lida, please.
Is the new sound wall on the property line?
It is not. We we couldn't get it on the property line because of the number of trees that were in the way.
Well, what about the side property line?
The along the east side, yes, that's right on the lot line. That's right on the property line.
That's the neighbors, right?
Yeah, that's the neighbor to the east.
Are you planning on I'm not clear about what's going on in the landscaping on either side, either on your client's side or whatever the other side is, and I can't figure out, but what's going on landscape wise? Other than the existing trees, does it call for it? Not necessarily is it needed, is it called for additional landscaping to either aesthetically or visually?
No, right now it's kind of a forest in her backyard, but I don't think that there's no new landscaping called for, no. That doesn't mean that she might not want to add some,
Okay, thank you.
to screen the wall, the size of the wall.
Yeah, I would think.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have no further questions, so I'd like to ask if there's anybody in the audience that would like to address the board on item number 1136 Hill Road, please. Anybody? Sharon?
One person raised their hand, John.
Well, can we somehow, I don't have any control.
No, I know, I'm just letting you know if
Sharon or David or Alex, can you somehow allow this person to speak? David, can you see who it is?
I didn't see the name. And I don't have control over that.
Okay, could you try unmuting yourself, whomever would like to address the board, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I left the room for a second. Did someone hold on a second?
Apparently somebody would like to address the board.
Second, I'm on it. So it's, there you go. There you go. Thank you.
Hi, greetings, Montecito Board of Architectural Review. This is Sharon Byrne with the Montecito Association. I'm just watching this item because, as you probably know, we've had some conversations recently with Caltrans where they will not be installing sound walls north of the 101 freeway because of the fear of backup into neighborhoods in case of another debris flow, or a flooding event. I don't see that this property is close to a creek, so I'm assuming it's in somewhat less danger of flooding, but I was curious if it has made it through the application process and if county flood control has signed off on the on the sound wall as proposed. Thank you.
Greg?
I don't think I think the Montecito ARC is one of the first reviews that we've had, and then I think from here it does go to the flood control and a building department, etc. I don't know if the flood control has seen this yet.
Okay, well then.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments there, Sharon?
No, thank you. Oh, me or
Sharon Byrne?
Oh. Oh.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, I'd like to close public comment. As I said at the beginning, I think this is potentially precedent setting, so I'd like people to keep that in mind while we chat about this, make comments. Claire?
Well, I have a question. So the one that the sound wall that you're trying to replicate, let's put it that way,
Right.
is the east, right?
Right.
And so that's shown, that wall is shown on the plan, and does that wall also go along the front of the property or the back of the property, or is it just where it's shown on the drawing?
Oh, yeah. We didn't show the part of the wall that goes along the back of the property. of the neighbor's property.
Right.
We stopped it right there by that number 33. It does continue to the west, and it wraps around, I believe it wraps around the neighbors to the east. And we were pretty much matching that.
So Claire, comments, please.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to make sure that I understand what's happening here before I make any comments here. Because I actually have walked the site. I got out there yesterday morning and I walked in because I find this 12-foot tall proposal kind of over the top for me. I think the wall is too tall, and my experience of being out there, I did see the other wall that you're tying onto is not 12 feet tall. So, you've shown a picture of what you wanted to look, what the neighbors looks like, but I didn't have the, I mean, I would have to get out there and measure it, but I didn't have the experience of that being a 12-foot wall right there.
Did you measure it?
No, I didn't. I'm going to go back. I was going to go back this morning and measure it, but I didn't.
Claire, I think we should be careful about walking on private property.
Well, I was walking along the railroad tracks. That's not property.
Very good, thank you.
That's exactly
So do
what
you
I was doing. And that's what so that now the other thing is that now that I found out that I'm on the east side, is that absolutely my recommendation would be that we're going to that the neighbor to the west, to the east, where the wall turns, that property line, that needs to be screened. Absolutely, and for me, I'm going to have a hard time. I think the wall's too tall. I don't see why we need to have, this giant wall, so that's, I'm having trouble with this.
Don Sharp, please.
Thank you. As you may suspect, my main concern is tying the visual quality of this into the existing. I don't have any problem with the height. I think it's quite reasonable and can certainly go along with the wall.
David, please.
I'm actually familiar with this area, and I looked into doing a sound wall in a very similar location a couple doors down. So I understand the issues there. It is very loud. So I'm open to supporting a sound wall in this location, specific location, not setting precedent for the rest of Montecito, but in this specific location, there is a lot of sound. But I would want to have documentation from an acoustic engineer that the 12-foot height is what you need to mitigate the sound in case it could be lower. And I would also agree with Don's comments that it ties in to the other wall. And then Claire's comments that the wall be screened from the neighbor to the east and also from the views from the north as well.
John, would this be a time to comment?
No, let's get our comments, all of us in, Greg, and then you can chat if you'd like, please.
Okay, thank you.
Elida?
Well, this is a conundrum wrapped in a slippery slope, given the precedent that this would be setting. And the conundrum is it's loud down there. And that's not what we expected in Montecito. That's not what we're getting in Montecito. And I can appreciate private homeowners trying to mitigate this as best they can. And I don't know if where it goes back to. I don't know the system well enough to decide what the specs are and what the visuals are and what the material is and all that, so that we don't have just a variety of different heights and shapes and materials. As a comment, I don't have the answer to it, but it is a slippery slope. So that's my comment.
Okay, I did not visit the site. For me, I think that this board should go out there. I think we should come out from across the property so we can hear it, not just down the railroad track. Really try to figure out, Greg, where the lower right-hand corner, as shown on this drawing, the southeast corner of this fence is, how that works on the property line, see everything else that's out there. And then at that point, I think I could make an intelligent comment. I am sensitive to the fact that this is probably not going to be visually intrusive into the community, given its location up against the railroad track. But I am amazed at what happens when I get on the site, how much more I learn. So before I can make any comments, I'd like to go to the site. So Greg, did you want to comment about something again, please?
Yeah, there was some questions about the height and the acoustics and so forth. One comment that I pulled from the acoustics consultant's report was this quote, because of he said, this is David Lord, the principal consultant, because the topography of the site slopes downward toward the railroad corridor at the property boundary, a 12-foot fence is required to provide the same noise attenuation that an 8-foot fence would otherwise provide.
Okay.
So that was acoustical consultant's comment.
But I think I would like documentation that specific to this property. You know, that this property is either, if it's a higher or lower elevation. And different.
Yeah, and I think our primary concern was the neighbor to the west had the what we measured to be a 12-foot high wall. They had that as already a precedent, and I think we used that as a guide for our particular situation here. Their topography is very much like this particular site, the neighbor's topography. So,
okay, so members of the board, and I would like a site visit. Do other people feel that that would be helpful for us to make a recommendation to the Planning Commission?
So what you're saying, John, to clarify, when you use the word, this is like a agendized site visit. We're all going to go together out to the site.
Right,
Okay.
and Greg will be there, and we can talk to them and any neighbor, and we can figure out what's going on, what the landscaping is going to be on both sides of this thing, etc.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Absolutely. That was going to be my recommendation before I was, anyway.
Elida, yes, no?
Yes, absolutely.
Don, please?
Yes.
And David?
I agree.
Okay, so Greg, can you go and work with your planner on setting up a site visit before our next meeting and, you know, get together as much information as you can?
yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, one other thing, John, before you go, the screening, landscape screening, are you proposing us to plant on the neighbor's property?
I'm not proposing anything,
Yeah.
and this board does not propose anything. When we get down there, we're going to get a better idea of what's going on. Okay,
Gotcha.
and we can chat down there, but only in the sense that we can ask questions only. And then when we get back onto a public meeting like this, then we can start commenting. So please
Okay.
make sure you are there for this meeting. I know for whatever reason you were not able to attend last meeting.
Yeah, I didn't get a link last time. I wasn't invited, but
Okay.
can I get some times that might work for everyone on the committee?
Please contact your planner. It will be set up for a Monday afternoon, sometime every other Monday into the future. Okay?
Got it.
Work with your planner, please.
It's every Thursday.
Did I say Monday?
Yes, you did.
Yes, brain. I still want it on
That
Monday.
that was a few years ago, John.
Oh, well. Okay, thank you, Greg. Let's move on. Item number 2.
John,
Yes.
I'd like to speak, please.
What?
So Greg, the site visit will be arranged by your planner and they'll work with me to put it on the agenda. That's how site visits work.
Who is this? Who are speaking now?
Sharon, I'm the secretary to MBAR. So
Sarah? Okay,
so you work with your planner on when it can come back onto an agenda, and the site visit is always the morning of the MBAR meeting that you'll appear on.
okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 2, which is the item before us, has been continued, so this item will not be reviewed at this time. And for people that might be in attendance wanting to address us on item number 5, that also has been continued. So we're now up to item 3, please. 1177 Summit Road. Is there somebody here, Britta, or somebody else that would like to address the board, please?
Yes. I'm Britta Smith, and we are proposing a carport trellis over an existing parking space at 1177 Summit Road to match the existing trellis on the main residence.
We're going to have a little chat about that worksheet.
All right.
When it's my turn.
All right.
Okay. So David, I think PDF page 4, and then
So
and Britta, do you want to explain where this carport is and things of that nature?
yes, exactly. So the proposed carport will go over right where your cursor is. The existing 2-car parking spaces. On the right-hand side is an easement to the neighboring property on the south. So they share a driveway. And then we're gonna remove or we're proposing to remove the existing 120 square foot storage there and replace it with a smaller bike storage. So if you go to the next sheet, it'll show you the proposed location. A rough framing plan with 6 posts and a beam roughly 14 inches deep to span the 28 feet. There's an existing fence on the right-hand side, so we're going to keep that intact. These are the elevations to match the corbel details on the main residence right now, and with T&G siding on the underside. Couple renderings. So we did meet with the neighbor on the south side to discuss the height, because there currently is a hedge between her property and the proposed property. And so we came to a conclusion that 8 feet 2 would be a good height so that way she wouldn't see it from her living room, with a 7-foot clearance for car.
We're just all waiting for the master of the technology to get us where we want to be.
So
Yeah.
north is to the upper right-hand corner in this view.
Yes, exactly. So you can see the existing 2-car parking spaces and then the existing storage shed, which will be demolished.
And does that conclude your presentation, please?
Yes, it does. The only other thing that we have is, for what it's worth, we met with the neighbors and they are okay with it.
As long as it's 8'2" or less.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just kind of intuited that. Okay, does that complete the presentation?
It does, yes.
Okay, Elida, questions, please.
No questions.
David,
What are the finished materials of the carport and the bike storage?
So it would be to match the T&G siding of the existing residence. So to match exactly paint color, it's currently a white T&G. And then with the galvanized steel on the roof.
Like a galvanized steel as in corrugated roofing or something, or?
Not corrugated, just for waterproofing. It's a bonderized steel.
And it's flat?
And it's flat, correct.
Really? Okay.
Don? Oh, I'm sorry, David, are you done?
Did you provide any photos of the existing house that we could see what you're matching?
There are photos. Yes, there's site photos.
Okay, yeah, this is helpful. So
you can see the existing T&G siding and the corbel details.
Okay, so you're matching this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Don?
Thank you. Why is the carport as wide as it is?
Because they want to fit 2 cars in there. Right now, it's really tight when you fit 2 cars in the existing parking. And so they wanted more space to get in and out of their cars.
And so it's 28 out to out?
Correct.
Thank you.
Claire?
We're in questions? Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
And neither do I. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the board on item number 3, 1177 Summit Road?
I don't have anyone, John.
Very good. I'll close public comment. Comments, Elida?
Questions or comments?
Comments, you said you had no questions.
No, I have no comments. I had no questions, no comments.
Okay, David.
I'm fine with the proposal that they've met with the neighbor. The height is 8 feet as long as everything's meeting the zoning requirements. We're not encroaching. I'm like that the materials are matching the existing house. My only concern would be that metal roof. I'd like to see details and just make sure that it isn't a reflective surface that might impact neighbors of the community. But overall, I think it's a nice project.
Don? Don?
Thank you. I agree with Dave. I think it's going to be pretty innocuous and not stand out. And I am concerned about the metal roof and the color and sheen and so forth. But it's a reasonable request. Thank you.
Claire?
Does the metal roof have a slope to it at all? Or is it just flat one side to the next side?
It would have a slight slope so that water would shed off the west end into a gutter.
Oh, okay, that's what I was concerned about, you know.
Yeah.
And this is just cleanup. I think the agenda's incorrect because it's written out as a carport trellis. This is not a trellis by any means. This is a roof, you know. So I just somebody should clean that up. You must have put that in your application. But other than that, What is the color, what's the color of the roof and the material on the existing structure? I mean, it looks like it's got a dark roof from the pictures, but what is it shingled? Is it a shingle roof?
It is not shingled, no.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of there. Oh, okay. So it's just an ordinary roof.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm concerned about this black color on this, you know, so I just,
On the roof.
yeah, on the carport. It just seems like a shiny or even a muted black, you know, that's going to be seen. It just, I don't know, you know, so just, I wouldn't hold up the project, but I just look at that, you know, see if there's another material that would be more consistent with the roof of the house.
Are you done there?
Yeah.
Claire? Okay, David, can we go to the site plan, please? It's right on the rear yard setback, as is the guest house. And I know that they are using existing geometry and things like that. I think this is the time to clean that up. I don't know this, but I strongly suspect that this is the rear yard, which would mean that if we are following normal zoning, it should be 25 feet. This is 0 feet. So I'm not really excited about that. I don't know what happened with that guest house. I'm assuming that it was approved at some point and that's water under the bridge, but for that reason, I don't think I should necessarily exasperate the issue here. And then can we go to the FAR, please? Okay, so this is the deal. What you did not show here in the upper left-hand corner, it says existing first floor. You did not get the 1,800 square feet in there. And you did not get, but you did get the guest house and the storage shed and that. So when you sit down and you do the calculation with that 1,800, if you continue to include the 120 square feet, the FAR is 131. And if you take the 120 square feet out because it's kind of wiggle room in the zoning ordinance, that little weird provision, if it's under 120 square feet, that's 126. So that's easily correctable, and my guess is that in this area of old Montecito, that there are a lot of larger properties. When David was out there on Google Earth, I guess it is, we could see how quote unquote crowded it is. And one of the things that we do is respect people's privacy, or what's good for me is good for you, what's good for you is good for me. So, you know, chances are that's not the issue. But if you can see this right here, we've got a 0 property line issue here. And as it turns out, on one of my own projects, I looked at a U occupancy, which is what this would be. Now, there are some specific provisions for garages, which on my project I did not get. But I think this has to be at least 5 feet off the property line, at least 5 feet from a building department point of view. And I don't see a reason why we should be allowing this anywhere near that. So from the FAR standpoint of view, I would ask that you do a study before you come back. And I'd like to hear if other people have comments about the site planning, please. Anybody, or everybody feel that this is okay?
Well, what I was gonna say also about the site plan, the fact that it's right up and then in this, it is right up against the neighbor, and almost right against that. Has this gone to the fire? Has the fire department reviewed this?
No, they have not yet.
Okay, well, I would strongly strongly recommend, because the fire department is not gonna like having to get around this building. And the fire department actually is the one that wants 3 to 5 feet around the back of a building if in a case of a fire. So
Mhm.
that's,
Okay, so
Hi. I'm in
this
the
is obviously a relatively small project.
Architecture Review Committee,
Um,
and your mom.
Don, mute yourself. Don, mute yourself. So what do we want to do with this, please?
well, I think that we bring it back for further conceptual after she's gotten addressing some of these issues that we've met.
So
Yeah,
Bridget,
I think they need to go through the fire department and the planning to confirm that this location will work
And
before they
also-
come back to
Just
us.
to clarify from a planning perspective, this is Alex. So detached accessory structures are permitted in rear yard setback up to the property line. So long as they are less than 12 feet in height and a couple other provisions. I think cumulatively don't exceed more than 40% of the rear yard area. So
That was my my thought as well, from talking with Tatiana, that as long as it's under 12 feet, that they can be in the rear yard setback.
you have not solved the building department yet, though. So, okay, so back for further conceptual.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
can I get consensus on whether an FAR neighborhood FAR study is required?
Yeah, I think it is, since it's 126%
Or 131, depending on how you
or
count it.
131, whichever, yeah.
Claire?
Yeah, I think, go ahead and do the study.
Yeah. And Britta, do you know how to do that?
I will find out.
Okay.
Well, she's got a planner. I mean, Tatiana can help
Okay.
her do that.
So let's continue this item to concept. Please, by all means, go and chat with the fire department.
Okay.
As often as not, form follows fire department. So we'll see you back here in whenever. Okay?
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Item number 4580 Santa Angela Lane. Who's anybody here for that?
Yes, Ken Radke and
Yes,
Alyssa
we can hear you.
Richard
How are you
here.
doing?
Good. Let's see, Ken, are you able to unmute?
Yes,
You are
I'm
unmuted.
here now.
You're unmuted. We can hear at least you, Elisa. But now you're muted. You put yourself
How about-
back on mute.
How about me, Ken?
Ken, we can hear you.
Hi, Mr. Chair, members of the board, thanks for being here. Thanks for having us. We're here with the project, which is at 580 Santa Angela Lane. Also, I believe tuned in are the property owners, which are Kim Collin and Sam Hecht. It's a really, we think, a really wonderful project here. The Kim and Sam and their 2 kids are currently living in London, but their family has lived here in Montecito for many decades. And Kim is from California. Kim and Sam are internationally celebrated industrial designers, and they are collaborating on the design of this project with us at Blackbird. So Alyssa is here, as well as me, Kim, and Sam. The goals of the project are to make a project that aligns with their calm, simple, industrial design aesthetic, which is very, very detail-oriented and serene almost in its approach. So if we look at the stats, you could zoom in. Sharon, are you controlling the screen?
Davis, thank you.
Dave, hi.
You want these stats here or the FAR?
You could probably, it seems like you're interested in the FAR stuff. We could cover that. The property is 0.77 acres. The proposed house is to remove an aged and decrepit 1900 square foot house and replace it with an 1886 square foot house, as well as a 751 square foot ADU and a 770 square foot garage. All together, taken together, the net, if we've done the calculation properly, takes us to that 74% DAB, sort of FAU, if that's the proper term. So 1,800 square foot house with an ADU and a garage on 0.77 acres. So hopefully that could be considered very reasonable in Montecito. The site, if we go to the next page, well, page 3, and zoom in on that key plan, you can see that this property on Santa Angela Place Lane backs up to the northwest corner of the upper village. So those structures on the right-hand side, that's an auto shop in essence, and that they're pretty close to the property line. So you can see those two existing, there's an existing carport and an existing single-family residence in a kind of an impromptu organization here on the site. To the north is a large property, and you can see some of their they're just storing things. It's kind of like a back of house area for that property. To the west is a single family house kind of from that era. And to the south, you can see that 2-story Mediterranean house that has its garage facing towards our property. If you go to then to the lower right, and you could just kind of cycle through these photos quickly, it'll just give some context for this. So that's on the cul-de-sac, which is Santa Angela Lane, number 1, and number 2, those are the neighboring properties, very suburban forms on those properties. That's number 3 is the entry to the property. So we have a narrow little slot that gets to the property from the cul-de-sac. Number 4 is just as you arrive onto the site, looking up the length of the property, you see towards the mountains, which is an important part of the site for the property owners, for Sam and Kim. Number 5 and number 6 show the current state of the property, which is lots of sort of unkept foliage. There's some big cypress trees and palms and so forth, a smattering of olives and a lot of overgrown shrubbery and so forth that are tall, that provide a lot of screening in all directions to this essentially flat site. Interestingly, these photos 7 and 8 and 9 show the easterly property line, which backs up to the you can see Kim there looking over in the space between the auto shop and the property owner's property. So I think that gives context for right now. We might then go to number 5 in this PDF that gives the overall site development.
Here we go.
So we're respecting all the setbacks. What's proposed is the main residence be at the back up to the north in the quieter part of the site. The main residence then sort of makes a smaller yard with that 25-foot setback at the north. It allows for cars to come along on the existing pattern along that western property line, and then to form a courtyard in the middle of the property where they could just have garden and pool and recreation. On the south is proposed this garage, which is a one-car garage with a home workshop and an ADU. The parking is distributed between covered parking right by the main house, garage parking in the garage, and an uncovered space out there to the right-hand side. So we're really just staking out the edges with quiet residential uses, and then making a big yard and courtyard in the middle. If we go down to the next page, you'll see the main residence floor plan. There is one unconventional aspect of this. So you're looking at this floor plan, you can see in the left is the living, kitchen, dining, the main entrance, and a den / bedroom. And on the right, connected via breezeway, is the primary suite bedroom. So there's not an internal connection proposed between these. And Sam and Kim are, again, they're just so thoughtful about wanting to live in connection with the indoors and the outdoors. It's in essence a breezeway and a covered outdoor space to the south. They were inspired with some precedents by folks like Frank Lloyd Wright, Green and Green, who designed houses with exterior circulation to bedrooms, as well as recently architects like Rick Joy and others. So if just so that you can get the lay of the land there with sort of like a great room, living space, an outdoor sort of congregating space with outdoor dining and kitchen stuff just for grilling and so forth, and the main bedroom. That's the 1,800 square feet. And then on the far right-hand side is a hot tub that's under the roof. If you look at the garage floor plan and the ADU floor plan, you can see the garage is proposed that one car be in there, that there be storage and workshop, and that the ADU be directly adjacent for kids and family members, potentially in theory renting. And then again, these just very, very straightforward rectangular plan layouts. And then if you go back up to page 5, you can kind of place those floor plans in context of that. So again, kind of staking out the boundaries with plenty of yard space outside of these structures, but then defining a really good space on the interior for recreation, movement. Of course, they're always going to be industrial designers, and they'll be puttering around with building furniture and whatnot in their shop as prototypes, that kind of activity. It'll be great to have this family in Montecito. Interestingly, as well, just wanted to comment, this site is located walking distance to the Upper Village and Montecito Y, and that's part of their sustainability thinking, which is walk score, indoor-outdoor connections, building sort of the minimum interior square footage that you would need to have a family retreat. And then if we go to page 8, you can see just the absolute simplicity of proposed these very, very long overhangs, simple indoor-outdoor relationships, minimal on the, minimal on the inside. The palette proposed here is, if you go to the next set of elevations, the next page, you can see there's some fine detailing of a board form concrete sill. It's all wood, timber, and hardwood paneling is proposed from sustainable sources. You will see here a desired feature, which is that they would be able to get up to the roof and have a small little deck to be able to see mountain views from on the roof. You'll see that in the floor plan. You can see the exterior finishes proposed. There is some concrete masonry unit wall proposed in a couple of spots here. It's a 1-story project, the entire thing. Aluminum doors and windows, metal fascia at the roof, and hardwood with concrete and CMU. That's this sort of native palette. And the desire, again, is for this to be largely natural and unfinished surfaces, to have this very muted, calm, simple palette. If we go down to the next set of elevations, here you can see the ADU west elevation and the ADU south elevation. They're, again, just very, very simple structures. The screening to the neighbors is very, larger than what we're showing here, frankly. It's large, dense, continuous foliage on all sides.
David, can you skip over this? We are not permitted to look at ADUs, please.
Oh, okay.
Is this an ADU as well?
The garage is on the bottom, the
Okay, very
bottom
good.
two.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Kane.
Yeah.
Yes, we can look at that.
All right, sorry about that. So again, the garage is proposed with hardwood doors, CMU walls, and then you can see the second proposed little deck to get up to appreciate these mountain views. I think that covers the basics of the project. Again, the goal is to work with this flat site to maintain a low slung development and to accommodate a family to be indoors and outdoors in a most intensive and integrated way. And we're available for questions.
Excellent. Claire, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I thought that you would love to start the questioning for this project.
I have no questions.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised. David, please.
Yeah, have you considered the potential impacts of the roof decks to the neighbors and the community?
Yes, as I mentioned briefly, if you go to the up to the aerial view of the site, so you can see that the one neighbor to the north, it's a large property, and so you can actually see that what they have on their side of that is kind of the back side of a large accessory structure, and you can see they've got a lot of stuff stored and they've got some parking and stuff. So the proposed location of that upper deck at the house, it would have, we believe, minimal impact on neighbors because it would hardly be able to be seen. Of course, to the east, I don't think the auto body shop cares. And as I said, frankly, the visual connections between these properties is minimal. And then the proposed location at the garage is down there, kind of, yes, right there, essentially facing the driveway of the neighbor property. So that the neighboring property has heavy screening and a yard on our side of the property line between the proposed garage deck and the neighboring development. So yes.
Okay, and then what is this area of the driveway? What's its purpose?
Well, part of it is to provide access to the covered parking there, and it's just really intended. I mean, we aren't necessarily.
This is the parking area here?
Yeah.
No, the uncovered on the right-hand side.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I get it then. Okay.
And as you know, I mean, driveway in residential property is sort of utility function when you're not driving there. So projects and open space and ping pong and whatever.
Thanks. Those are my questions.
Elida?
John, is the question of you, is this premature to be seeing even a preliminary landscape thoughts,
Yeah,
design?
we did not look at landscaping at concept.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Don, please. Don Sharp. Don. Don. Okay. I have several questions. On the western side of this property, it looks like your driveway goes to the exact property line without any perimeter hedging or anything of that nature. Could you please discuss that?
That corresponds roughly to the existing situation, but I'm sure there's room there for a planter strip along that side on the west to make that happen.
Okay, and are you aware that the Montecito Planning Commission back, I think it was the 90s, but I can't remember, I was not on the board at that time, specifically prohibits main residences not having internal circulation?
No, weren't informed of that by our one meeting with the county planning about this. I do know that this is a topic for discussion with the planners, but it's a heartfelt and sincere desire on the part of the property owners. If that's extraordinarily prohibited, I think it's a shame, because the motivation for it is connection to site, landscape, natural air and light.
This is Alex with planning. I do think you're gonna have.
Can you ask the planner, can you ask?
This is
Alex is on now. Alex, please. Go ahead,
So
Alex.
I do think you're gonna have a problem with that detached bedroom. There is supposed to be internal connection for the residents. Otherwise, it's just treated as an accessory structure. And you can't really have sleeping quarters in an accessory structure.
Okay.
So, possible solutions would be glass, sort of a glass corridor or something like that, to connect the two, or I don't know.
I'm sure we can figure out a way to make a breezeway connection into kind of like a winter garden in essence, that could cross there.
Okay,
in some
Alex, while
fashion.
you're on, did you look at the parking on this, please?
Well, so is this coastal or is this inland?
No, this is near the Upper Village. It's
Okay, so two spaces, two covered, one uncovered spaces would be the requirement. So the garage, I think, Ken, you had indicated space for one vehicle. It would need to be designed in a way to accommodate two vehicles, regardless of how it ends up being used.
Well, there's a covered parking up at the main residence as well. Carport.
Oh, carport. Okay.
and at this stage in the universe, where are we at with parking for the ADU, please?
This would be close to public transit, I believe, within half mile. So I don't think they would need parking for the.
Okay, very good. Ken,
John, I do have one question.
let me finish, please. Let me finish, and then, is that okay?
Okay.
Fire department, have you been to the fire department yet, please?
We haven't been to the department, but we're somewhat aware of their requirements, and we'll be able to. It should meet their backup requirements, but if it was really necessary, we could provide a hammerhead.
Fire form follows fire department in Montecito.
Yep.
And can we look at the FAR calculation, please? Yeah, I don't think you have the workshop on here. Am I wrong about that? Is that 772?
It's part of the garage, yeah.
So the 772 is that workshop?
it's the garage and
Garage
workshop
and
together.
workshop. Okay, very good. Okay, Don, you had a question or questions, please?
You stole my question about the fire department. Thank you.
Is there anybody attending this Zoom meeting that would like to address the board on item number 4, 580 Santa Angela Lane, please? Anybody? Okay, seeing or not. Sharon, are you there? David?
Yes.
Not you, David.
No, yeah, no, I don't see any hands raised for this one.
Okay, very good. Thanks, David. Okay, so comments, please. So I think I can't remember if I started with Claire or Dave. Who did I start with?
Last time you started with me.
Comments, please.
I think it's, given that I actually know where this house is because I walked up that road when Brett was presenting his house when you first go into that road, and it's just this wonderful little cul-de-sac back there. It's just it's so old Montecito, and I think the way that this project has been laid out and is surrounded by the existing vegetation, that it's actually, it's very acceptable to me. That's my comment.
David?
Yeah, I agree. The scale of the project, the amount of perimeter landscaping, the way it's laid out is very nice, very low impact. My main concerns would be the impact of the roof decks to the neighbors. So if there could be some site sections or other documentation to help me understand that won't be an impact on the neighbors, that would help me support the project. I also, screening along that west property line on their property, moving the driveway over a little or reducing it so you have screening on the property would be important. But overall, I think it's a very nice project, and I think it's going in a great direction.
Elida?
As a landscaper, I love the relationship between how much land is going to be there versus hardscape and building. This will be wonderful to watch happen. I think this will be a great project.
Don?
I cannot add any more. I certainly agree with those comments.
I want to echo David's concern about the western property line. We asked for perimeter landscaping from everybody. I see no reason not to have you do your fair share, Ken, on that. Yes, the neighbor does appear to have some landscaping on the property, on their eastern property line. And I understand the concrete in front of the covered garage at the bottom of the site. I'm not so sure what you're actually creating here is a roofed area that happens to have a couple of smaller buildings inside. And then that covered patio area down there is extending out into the landscape. And I think that as it's drawn now, it does not take full advantage of the gracefulness that patio out there could have. And I might suggest that you take another look at that in a way to make that a richer portion of the project. So we are on for his one free meeting. Please go get a planner, work out some of the planning issues, and get yourself back on the agenda. How do we want to find this project the next time? Do we want to try going to preliminary once the planner signs off?
Yes.
Yes.
Back for preliminary, and then we can get it on the consent calendar for final. How's that?
Yes.
Hey, John, what was, could you just reiterate your last comment about the concrete patio element? Sorry, I missed it.
So above the garage and we can't talk about a building, there's a gray area there, and he has a different designation for the patio area in that area than that. And what I'm suggesting is if he wants to play the game that this is extending out into the landscaping, I don't think that he has achieved that yet. And that by studying the kind of material, the form of the material, I think that it will become a more obvious solution. It also looks like there may be some drainage issues coming down from the upper left to the lower right. And he has not dealt with any of the drainage, any potential retaining
He's
wall.
here for conceptual and with no planner, John.
Excuse me, he has not yet dealt with the drainage and how that deals. So Ken, when you come back, please figure out what you're gonna do with that water so it doesn't inundate the buildings on the lower right-hand side. Okay? Anybody else? Ken, anybody?
Much appreciation. We've got some detailed stuff on our to-do list, and we'll be back as quick as we can. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Okay,
you so
no
much.
problem. So item number 5 has been continued. So we're now on to item number 6. Okay, Pimiento Lane. Okay, correct FAR worksheet, include carport in floor area calculations. Several members expressed concern regarding floor area. Provide a neighborhood FAR study. One member indicated that they could not support the project given the FAR overage and construction parking issues expressed by the neighbor. Paul, are you with us today?
Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. So I want to start first off with this FAR review. And if we could zoom in on my chart there on the cover sheet. Thank you. There's been some changes to this chart. My previous FAR called off a 0.6 lot area and the 3505 square footage area as totals for this property. Those were taken off of the Santa Barbara County Tax Assessor's website when I started this project last year. Now, since this was a concern in our last review and presentation, I decided to dive deeper into these elements, these square footages, and I've got some different information on the chart. Per my AutoCAD plan, the surveyor's site plan, my site is not 0.6 acres, it's 0.68 acres. And per my review of my CAD floor plans, the floor plan is not 3505. It's, if you look at the bottom there, house subtotals, it's 3,076. I'm curious about the 3505, and the only thing I could figure out is it must have been the gross for the building, but it's my understanding that these charts use the net square footage for the building.
That's correct. Both of those statements are correct.
Now, further on in this package, I have a floor plan showing my area analysis, but that being said, I'm now down to 3,076 square feet. And in addition, we were going to try to include the carport, but the carport required a variance, and after review with our planner, we decided that was going to hold up our project too much. So we've decided to remove the carport. So that carport area is no longer in these plans. All we've got is the first floor and the second floor of the residence, and then the detached accessory dwelling unit. So using all these new numbers, if you scroll to the bottom, my percent to recommended maximum house net floor area is only 89% now, given the changes to this project and the analysis of the square footage. Do you want to look at the sheet with my square footage review? If it's necessary, I have it in this set. It's up to you.
Members of the board, what do you think? Since he's not over like he was in the past.
Yeah. Now, on that note, I do have an FAR neighborhood analysis of the block. And
I know you do. I know you've got it all.
Now that I'm down to 89, I don't know if that's an issue with this board, but you're welcome to review it.
I think, why don't we quickly go over it, please? You don't have to beat on it.
Okay. You want to go to that chart, my submission. So take a look at first I got the map book page, and then I've got a chart and a plan. So on this page, I wasn't sure about the extent of my review, but I discussed this in depth with my planner, And he decided that really it's only the properties on Pimiento Lane that were pertinent to the study, that had a relationship to this property. And I don't include obviously the church across the street. And I don't include obviously the houses that are way down on Schoolhouse Road, those tiny little lots there. So this is what was reviewed. Then I have a map and I have a chart. There's my chart. Most of the properties on this street are under by a certain percentage, some of them by a considerable percentage. We are now coming in, 491 Pimiento is now coming in at 11% under. Okay, only 3 properties were over, some of them considerably over, depending upon the renovations and additions they have. That's my chart, and I also have a map that just shows the specific properties. That's my third FAR component right there. That's the plan. Right now, this is actually showing the properties I looked at, their tax assessor's property number, and their square footage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's the neighborhood study. But again, I leave it to you to look at the 89% and decide if that's an issue at this point.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Move on, please. Has anything else changed?
Yes, my architectural package is essentially the same, but since our last review, the landscape architect has added like a lot of his elements, irrigation, a plant list, watering, et cetera, et cetera. His landscape drawings are in the back of my architectural drawings. So keep that drawing set open and you scroll down to L, wherever he starts there. Start with L0, the existing conditions, and I assume Guillermo is logged on and our landscape architect can take over.
Good afternoon. This is Guillermo Gonzalez from Blue Studio. We saw this on the previous hearing, but we went by very quickly because there was other concerns. So I want to go back to the existing conditions so everyone understands the site. There was a comment last time about lack of landscape, but I want to stress that this property, you don't see this property from the street. As you can see to the north along East Valley, there is a mature planting in there that's gonna remain the same. You can look at photo number 6 and 7, and there's nothing you can see. It's like the house is way behind, so it's really difficult to see anything. There's fully grown olive trees along Foothill Road. I'm sorry, I don't.
East Valley.
East Valley. Right. Sorry, wrong place. East Valley and on Pimiento. This is the corner of Pimiento and East Valley. And then the only thing you see is the entry gate, as you can see it here on image number 5. But beyond that, it's all hidden behind landscape. If we go back to the site plan, the only landscape we're changing is that interior courtyard, which is separated from the outer court by a wall and a gate. But this is the only area we're going to be landscaping, and a little bit on the back, and I will explain that. So if we zoom out, we can see to the north on photo number 1, there is a 8 feet tall wall. It's a retaining wall, so the landscape roll up to that. And so the courtyard is sort of sunk in that space. And it used to be a very traditional with a lot of lawn and edging and citrus trees. So we are removing all of that. And so if we can zoom back out and we can look at the back of the house. So on the back, we're keeping everything the same. There used to be a lawn area. If we zoom in to the left, used to be we can zoom into that, into the plant a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There is an existing lawn area that we're planning to replace with artificial lawn because the tree next door have grown so much that it's on shade all the time. And then below that, there is a paved area, which the whole backyard was all paved. So we think that it needs to breathe a little bit. So we would like to change that paved area to lawn area. Otherwise, all the improvements are inside that courtyard. So if we can go to the next page. Okay, here's the landscape plan. We can go to the back, so you can see where the existing lawn is going to be now a artificial lawn area. And then the area that used to be paved, that's the only area that's going to have a real lawn, since we can have more solar access. There are raised planters all along the edge, and those would remain the same. And then the courtyard, we are opening that courtyard. We are adding some planting and some palms just to create a soft environment in there, and to work with the pool. As you can see, we have a king palms and we have some Kentias. We also, in terms of planting, we are using some bird of paradise with our moderate and some hibiscus. And you can see then right underneath the palm trees. And if we go to the next one, that will be the irrigation plants. And all the plant walkers is all moderate or low. And if we go to the next page, the irrigation is, we're gonna reuse the existing irrigation. We're gonna replace all the bulbs and put a new clock so it matches the weather base. And the rest of it is gonna be all drip except for the lawn area, the new lawn area. And if we go down, we can see the willow calculation. So if we zoom into the willow, we are below the requirements. So we did all the calculations, included the new pool and spa, which is item number 5 in this case. And so we comply with that as well. So with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Like I said, it's a very small courtyard, and we went to full construction because it's so tiny that we didn't feel like, it was going to be much of a issue. So with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you, Guillermo.
Paul, did you have anything that you wanted to wrap it up with, please?
No, I understood. Guillermo and I have been working closely on his design on the site, and it's very well coordinated with the architecture. I don't have anything else to add on the presentation on the design point of view. Our owner Zorn is present at this hearing, and there was concerns about the neighborhood disturbances, and maybe Zorn wants to jump in and speak to that now.
That'd be great. Thank you, Paul. So I'm sorry I wasn't in the last meeting. I was out of town. When I heard that how upset the neighbors were, I immediately wrote a letter and delivered it personally to every household on Pimiento Lane, and asked if they would, to apologize, and if they could call me and I could reassure them that everything is, going to be clear now. And I only heard from one person. A couple of people that walked by said that they were fine again, but no one actually called me to discuss. But ever since then, we've had no issues on the street. We had the fire department and the building department come out, and they said everything that's there is totally fine where we are parking. And I just wanted you to know that we resolved that situation in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Does that conclude your collective presentation, please?
Yes, we're available for questions.
Very good. So questions, Don.
No questions, thank you.
David.
No questions, John.
Elida.
What's the acreage of this property? How big is this property?
The official site is 0.68 on my per computer, the site plan.
And Guillermo, how many square feet of lawn is that?
We can go back. If we look at, can we zoom into the water budget table, please?
Is it lawn or lawn substitute?
That's lawn showing here. The lawn substitute is not included in here. So it's the item number 4, which is 727 square feet.
Thank you.
Is that it, Elida?
That's it.
Claire.
Yeah. Where while this is in process, where is your construction traffic parked?
You want me to speak to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm-
this is Zoran. So the construction cars are in the auto court on property. And there's 3 legal parking spaces in front of the house on Pimiento Lane. And the rest of our construction crew is parking at another job site on their property.
Got it. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yep, that's the only question I had.
Okay, I want to thank you for, let's leave it right here. There seems to be a very large area of paving called auto court and then existing pergola to be removed. I would say in the projects that we normally review, this is far in excess of that paving that we normally see. Given that as a statement, the question is, have you considered reducing this paved area so that it's more low intensity residential in character, et cetera, please?
Can I
Can I
speak to
Can I speak to that, Paul? Or
Go ahead.
okay, so that auto court, though you can't see it there, is individual pebbles that are all in lotus flowers all over the entry in black and white stones. And it was existing, we didn't put it in. And it is so impactful when you drive in to see this beauty of art that they created.
It's a mosaic.
It's a mosaic.
And you can go to page, the first landscape existing condition, and you can see it from the aerial. It is just a gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just extraordinary.
You've seen it, Claire?
Well,
Claire,
is
you've
it?
seen it?
Yes, I have. I actually went by and looked at the site a week or 2 ago.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions. I'd like to ask if there is anybody in the audience that would like to address the board on item number 6, 491 Pimiento Lane, please.
I don't think we have any members of the public left, John.
Well, the person that matters is Sharon. Sharon, do you have anybody, please? Or David?
That was me.
I know. Sharon
I think Sharon was going to leave at a
or
certain point.
David? Nobody? Okay. Close public comment.
John, just to clarify, that was David Villalobos responding to you.
Oh, okay, very good. I'm sorry. Thank you.
So thank God, I think we did a good job.
Turn on the screen so we can so I can figure out what's going on. Okay, comments. Don, please. Don Sharp.
Thank you. I appreciate the refinements that have been made, especially working out the parking. I hope that all works like planned. And I think the project is quite reasonable. I think the FAR is just okay at this point. And I have no further comments.
And if other people concurred basically with your idea, where do you think it ought to go next, please? It's on for concept today.
Could we go to prelim and final?
Don, what's your comment, please?
I think prelim and final, yes.
At the full board? Don?
Pardon? I'm sorry.
At the full board or on consent, please?
I think it should be full board, yes.
Okay, David, please, you've heard Don's comments.
Yeah, I agree with Don's comments. I want to commend the applicant for resolving the parking issues with the neighbor. That's really important. And I think they've addressed the FAR issue. So I'm supportive of the project.
Prelim, final, full board?
I personally, I think it could go to consent, but if others want it to the full board, that's fine.
Elida, please.
Well, this is the yin and yang of applicants. I feel that the ratio between hardscape and buildings to the landscape is skewed, but that's my only comment.
Do you believe that they need to change it, or are you just
You know,
Ex-
John, it's just a comment.
Okay, and full board or consent for next step, please?
Full board.
Okay, Claire, please.
And to answer your question, yeah, full board. Well, full board for preliminary with, oh, no gap, just go full board. Yeah, and I just want to appreciate the work that you've done with the neighbors and the parking. I actually was listening to the planning commission hearing when the whole subject of parking came up on Pimento. And I really appreciate the fact that you've reached out to the neighbors and worked with the neighbors. It makes our job much easier. And yes, in height, it would be wonderful if there was less paving in the courtyard, except that that's there and it is absolutely incredibly gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah, but is it also there under the existing carport?
Oh, there is,
Yes.
yeah, there's
Yes.
this existing hardscape where that carport is being removed. Yeah, that's
Yes.
part of the mosaic.
It's part of the mosaic.
yeah, yeah.
I want to be sure that the committee understands when they're talking about the courtyard around the new pool, that's not hardscape. That's a small decorative pea gravel. So when you look at the proposed plan, the next page in his package, I just want to make sure everyone understands that the hardscape and the brick walkways that were there have been taken out, if everyone's clear.
Okay.
Okay.
And I have nothing further to add. I believe that it should also come back to full board. I want to remind the applicant that this board is extremely concerned about lighting up the Montecito with projects. And we ask you to be as modest as you can with all of your exterior lighting, please. And I also want to comment to Paul. I've been in business in Santa Barbara County for about 40 years or so. And I think to date, I have never found that the assessor's office determination of lot area has been incorrect. Now, there's always a first time, but you might want to go down and verify with them what is and is not included. Assuming that they are correct, everybody, the FAR turns out to be 99, or perhaps under another situation, maybe 101. So it's still well in there. So,
okay.
So I would like to, there are no motions because we have not for preliminary. Thank you very much. We'll see you back here for preliminary final at the full board.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item number 7, please. 999 Romero Canyon Road. We have some past minutes. We also have an older letter. I don't know if the Petersons are here and want to address us. We did review that letter last time, so I don't think we'll do it now. So the comments from last time, majority of the board can support project. The project with proposed reduction in the wall height to 6 feet. 2 members of the board could not support plexiglass railing, provide alternate railing options, provide details. 1 member of the board cannot support the project as proposed. So who do we have with us today here, please?
Chris Keel, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank
This
you.
is
Chris.
Alex.
So,
Can I just make clear one thing, which is Ms. Peterson did submit some comment letters yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a new letter from Peterson. That's what I saw.
okay.
When you get to that,
It looked like the old letter. So can we try to, we will get to that in public comment. Chris, can you make your presentation, please?
Sure. From the last meeting, my task was to revise a few items that were of concern to the board. So if you, one of them was to remove the glass fence, glass/wall fence. And the best solution was to match the existing architecture on the with the building. And I think so I created a new plan that was a detailed sheet. If you go to P6, probably down towards the bottom. I mean, sorry, P5. It'll show the the details of the balustrades farther down.
Or I'm on page 5 right now. Which page?
Well, not page 5, it's called P5, so keep going down. It's probably at the bottom because it was one of the last.
Okay.
Yeah, so, the one that above, yeah, above that one, the next one, that one. So the balustrade system is the exact same system that was installed in 2000, and it matches color and exactly the architecture of the building. There's quite a lot on the building. It's on the guest house, also on the main house. You can see in that picture. So that's how it would look. So I corrected all the other plans, grading plan, anything that had a note that was talking about a plexiglass or a glass fence, I took off. And the section on to the left, the 6-foot retaining wall, it shows the configuration and highlight the balustrade sitting on top of the wall. And then the lower one shows ghosted in the shrub massing or the screening that would occur on both walls.
Are you done there, Chris? It sounds
Yes.
like you're done.
Yeah, on that one. I mean, the next page, we'll go, if you want to have comments on that page, the next page is a landscape prelim plan. And what on this was, I created the separate zones to accommodate species, and some of the species are in each zone, reoccurring, and then the landscape turf area is the crosshatched area. The turf area to the upper right crosshatched, it was existing, so that's just replacement. And I didn't even note, but in the original plans there was turf down below within that large turf zone. I didn't even note it, but it's probably about 500 square feet that was existing before. Yeah, I think that's about it, unless there's questions.
Okay, so questions from the board. David?
Yes, what is proposed in this new terrace area that
That's the turf zone.
But what is the turf?
Yeah, what is?
Yeah, Mayor, I think in Z8, it's Marathon 2 sod.
So it's marathon grass?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my question. Thanks.
Okay, Elida?
No questions.
Claire?
No questions.
Don?
No questions, thank you.
Chris, have you done a WELO calc for what looks like a fairly large percentage of grass on this project?
I have not, in that, I did do one in another project in Montecito, but it was well, to tell you the truth, no.
Okay. And assuming that you get dinged, that's a technical term, dinged, like everybody else does on grass area, and you're not permitted to have that, what would you do with that new turf area? Would you put in artificial turf or something else, please?
I believe that's probably going to be the solution.
Artificial turf.
Not preferable, but it's a solution.
Yeah, start thinking about it. David, can we move up, please, a little bit? I want to see this. I think it was PDF 5. Yes, PDF 5. This upper wall is showing an older version of the proposal, which has a glass rail or a metal rail. Is that correct, up on the proposed new 5 to 6 foot high wall?
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't get a good image of a balustrade to work.
That's a question. So the question is, when you add probably a 42-inch high balustrade, does it begin to return to the 9-foot high wall as shown below, visually?
I understand what you're saying. I don't think so, only because the green will take that away. It will not look like a wall, it'll look like a green hedge.
Without the green hedge, would it look like the 9-foot high wall?
It would look like a taller wall, but
Okay.
with spaces in between,
Right,
obviously.
right. Okay, very good. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to verbally address the board, please?
We're not.
Anybody? Okay, and so let's try to figure out this. Is this the letter we got, Alex?
Yes.
Because I felt that this was the same letter we had before.
I believe that is the letter. I mean, it's possible some of it could have been a repeat, but this is what was sent to us yesterday.
Okay, so thinking that it was the same as what?
Miss Peterson submitted two.
And a photograph.
Yeah, the one with the photograph. Yeah.
By the way, it notes a pig there, their pig died. So I guess it's not an issue.
Okay, so let's go back to the letter. I thought this was a repeat, so I did not study it. We have been unable to reach anyone at Santa Barbara Planning to tell us exactly what is being requested. I'm not sure what that word means. The notice sent late last Friday says there is a request for a level play landscaped area and a sports court. There's already a new concrete sports court in front of their guest house identified as number 10 at the last MBAR meeting of March 24th, and a new bocce ball court on top of the guest house. Is this a second sports court to be built on the new proposed playground between the new 6-foot high wall and the pool renovation, a tennis or pickleball court, or any hard surface on the proposed playground area would create a sound nuisance due to the topography of Romero Canyon Road and Bella Vista? We have lived at 985 Romero Canyon for 25 years and are very aware of the unusual sound magnification. The proposed 3.5-foot by 110-foot glass wall on top of the proposed 6-foot wall on top of the existing 5-foot wall would reflect the sun setting, which would be clearly visible to all properties to the west. Also, at the meeting of March 24th, the concrete pad identified as number 14 as a new seating pad is shown on the attached photo taken several months ago and appears to be a barn to house the 5 dogs, 2 small ponies, and now deceased pig that we were informed are new residents at 999. We are concerned as it is directly below our home and between us and the fabulous harbor view we've enjoyed all these years, and also a violation of the 30-degree slope limitation. Thank you for your service to Montecito and your consideration to our concerns. So there is a photo, I think, out of justification or acknowledgement to these neighbors. We should look at that photo.
Yes.
And there it is. Okay.
If I may comment, that's an old photo. There is no, as we walked it the last time, there's no framing elements there. If there is anything to be involved there in the future, that will go through MBAR as a whatever it is. But it's not a barn for cattle or dogs or anything. It was more for equipment and fertilizer and other storage items like that.
So you're talking about the half-built structure in the
Yeah.
corner. Okay.
Yeah, that was eliminated.
Okay, just to be as careful as I can about public comment, is there anybody attending this meeting that would like to verbally address the board at this point, please? Okay, so I close public comment. We do not have an action available to us today. It is on for concept again. Oh, no, preliminary, my mistake. So, David, what are you about here?
Well, I think the balustrade matching the existing is too heavy and will visually make the wall appear higher again. And for me to support the project, I would want to see some kind of simple wrought iron railing that's much more see-through and would disappear. And I would hope that would be beneficial to the clients as well, as it would be more transparent the way they wanted with the glass. But I think that heavy balustrade is just adding all the mass and height back to the wall. And I also would definitely want the WELO calcs to justify the water use for that very large lawn. And if it's not going to be a lawn, to make sure that isn't impermeable surface that causes other issues with drainage and that. So I'd ask that they follow up on that as well.
Okay, Elida, please.
I follow up everything that Don just said,
David just said.
David said.
Anything else, or is that it?
No. Mm-mm.
Claire, please.
I'm with David. I'm kind of, I think that's the whole issue is what we're looking at. And that was going to be my question about, have you done your WELO calcs? And I just held it up till now, but yeah, because I don't think you're going to pass on your WELO calcs.
Okay, Don Sharp, please.
I can't add any more. I certainly agree with everything that's been said. Thank you.
I said last time that I was going to vote against this because I think that it does not meet the guidelines of integrating into the hillside. I will continue to do that, but I might like to add the following comments since it looks like the board's going to approve it. Number one, I think the white color of this wall is doing you more harm than good. I would think that some kind of olive green or brown or variegated color or something that does not reflect the light would do you much better. I think that the fence that that David was talking about, I think hog wire is a really remarkable country fence, or if you want a more contemporary look, something like a cable rail might work fine. I think that those will essentially become invisible, similar to what you have shown, and will disappear. And therefore, those are my comments. We are on for preliminary. Does anybody want to make a motion to that effect, please?
No, but,
we are on for preliminary. We either need to continue it with a motion, we need a preliminary motion that could have a condition of this and that, or we can just flat out continue it and have the applicant come back, please.
I propose that we continue it and the applicant to come back for preliminary final with the concerns that have been mentioned.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so Chris, you didn't get a preliminary today. So all those in favor, please?
Aye.
All those opposed. So the motion is to continue to return to the full board for preliminary and final. Okay.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Of course, Chris.
On the coloring of the wall comment, would the board be acceptable to, if we were able to get a more muted, a different color other than the bright white, would it be okay to utilize that just on that wall, or the wall down? Well, actually, the wall down below is covered up with a fence, with a hedge, but it would only be on that wall is the only concern.
What's done is done.
With everything else, with the house is basically, all the other walls are white.
Yeah,
Claire, please go ahead.
well, that was my question. It was going to be, isn't the house white?
The house is white. The
Yeah,
reason
and
why,
so all the other existing walls are also white, so if there's an issue, with then, because Mr. Watson is thinking he doesn't want, this white is going to be, then the way to do that would maybe to put some vines on it, leave it white and put some vines on it.
Well, actually, we have 24-inch blocks to match the hedge that's down there below. It'll essentially look like the hedge below.
Oh, right. Okay, I remembered. That's why I was trying to get back to
I think
what.
we have 50, I can't remember the quantity. I think there's like 50 24-inch boxes.
Yeah, it's going to be covered up, so I don't have a problem with it being white.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get the task, the other task. Thank you, appreciate it.
Claire, Claire,
Yes.
I think you and I and everybody else made a mistake on the Miramar, on that wall that's right at the street. I think if we had had that be more muted and then put a vine on it, I think that the community would have a quicker resolution to the large massiness of it. But anyway, there's a motion on the floor. I'd like to call for a vote, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please. Okay, Chris, we'll see you back here at the full board.
Thank you.
Item number 8, last item today. It's 3:08. We're doing great. Okay, there are minutes of 490 Ranchito Vista Road. And Denise, before we get started, or whoever.
All right, I'm in my meeting right now. All good?
Hang on. Nice addition and improvement
Yeah,
to
I'll stay there.
existing structure, architecture, scope, and
Thank you so much.
scale. Hello?
Oh, love it. Just stay anywhere. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, architecture, scope, and scale acceptable. 2 members suggested restudying the fountain on the south elevation. Return with full details, including planting plan and plant list. So is there somebody here to represent this project, please?
Yes, hello, commissioners. Eric Baer with AB Design Studio.
Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. You guys are cruising through the agenda. I wasn't expecting to be on so early.
So members of the board were on for both preliminary and final today. So it's the full, I was going to say the full Monty, but the full deal. Eric?
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'll give just a brief introduction and refresher. So residential remodel and addition, we've got a 700 square foot addition proposed in total between the first and second floors. The board received the project very well at the conceptual review hearing in February. As a reminder, this property is very well vegetated. If we go to page 4, there's some context photos. Property's got a lot of mature trees surrounding it. It's very well screened from public view. You can see in the aerial there just how well screened it is and treed. So the board received the project well in February, and we're back for preliminary and final with the full details and additional information. So our project architect and lead designer, Will Rivera, is here. He will take you briefly back through the proposed scope, which is consistent with what we presented to you last time, and then we're here to answer any questions you may have. I believe we also have with us Chris Killen with Common Ground, the landscape architect.
I'm Nikos. I will be representing Common Ground.
Okay, so Will, are you there somewhere, please?
I am here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. The project is not changed in scope. It's exactly what you saw in concept. I think if you have the ability to pull up the old elevations that were done back then, I think you'll be able to remember this project pretty clearly, but if not, that's fine. It's basically the exact same project. We haven't changed anything or added anything. The detailing is very much inconsistent with what was done in the original project. So we would like to just go over some of the detailing that we've done, and let's see.
David, can you just click through every page?
Sure.
I don't know that you have to spend a whole long time on each page, but just in case there are issues that come up.
Since we submitted to this project for MBAR. We've recently received a concept approval from the fire department for access. So we've got that kind of cleared away. We are, like I said, currently in our LUP application process. But if you can stop right there, that this is pretty much exactly what we had submitted for a concept. The drawings may not look as beautiful because they're in CAD, but all the information is here. We have details for all the elements that you see, and they're in the end of our package. But basically what we're doing is we're taking it out to review. We're taking out the roof S tiles and putting in mission tiles, and we are removing the exterior plaster throughout and putting in new plywood sheathing and new plaster. And we have spent a lot of time thinking about, the detailing and making sure that this is a beautifully renovated project, which it will be. And you can just keep going through the elevations. This is the front elevation, which is actually in the north. And then as you wrap around, this is the west. We created a nice, go back to that page, Dave. So that you'll see on that, what we did was in the great room, which is the area in the middle, we lowered the floor 2 feet 4 inches so that we can have, we didn't want to exceed on our roof height. So what we did was we had so much room in the garage that we lowered the floor 2 feet 4 inches so that we can now look out up into the mountains. So currently there's 6 foot 8 inches of our door and window heights. So now we have nice 9 foot windows and doors all the way around. We added this balcony that wraps around the great room, which opens up the great room to give you more of an indoor outdoor space. And then because we did that, we also go back to that. Sorry, Dave. We added a new elliptical stair entry, a nice stair that goes up to the main level, which is the upper level, the entry level. And before we had the very, very clunky stair that we removed because it was unsafe, but now we have this nice, elegant stair that is a nice transition from the driveway, the top of the driveway there, to the main entry. And as you wrap around the balcony toward, you can go to the next page, to the south, then you can see how this balcony wraps around and becomes, on the back, there are 2 terraces. At the terraces, we have the railing is sitting on a 1.5 foot plaster wall, which creates a nice transition up to the upper level. The terrace on the right is at the same level as where it was before, and the main upper level has not been changed on the bedroom side, which is what you see on the right side of that south elevation. You had only really comments on the quirkiness of the what you see there is the backside of a wall fountain, which we tried to kind of play with that quirkiness. We think it works really well. And then you have one more elevation, which is not really visible from anywhere. It's just the upside, the high side of the property. It can continue. These are some quick building sections and some details. The elliptical stair, or architectural details, roof details, railing details, plaster cornice details, corbel details, and wall fountain details on door and window schedules, and then door and window details. So that's our presentation. Oh, these are the material board. It's basically going to be, like I said, all new plaster exterior. It'll be a white, which is a droplets color, which is not bright, but it'll be a white color, traditional Spanish style house with, you can see the call out that we have for the Spanish clay tile. We have exterior wood stain. We have saltillo coir tile all around the patios, exterior patios and balconies. We have a lot of the wood is stained and matches the doors, which is down below, which is the Arcadia wood windows. And on the light fixtures, we have basically 3 light fixtures that we're using from Steve Handelman, which will all be modified per the diagram on the upper right to be not dark sky compliant. And that's what we have.
Thanks,
I did
Will, and
not-
we could, oh, go ahead.
I
I'm
did
sorry.
not see landscaping. Is there a landscaping section, please?
Yeah, I didn't see any either.
There should be landscaping on that, in that page.
What page?
Yeah.
that we're
Oh,
looking
shit.
at? There's
In
no
the set.
landscaping on this page.
Is there
Okay,
another set?
well,
Is there another set? No.
No, this is all we've got.
Okay.
Okay, I apologize. There should be, that was an error on our part. We should have landscaping.
Yeah, let's not
I
worry
could-
about it. We can get this on consent if the board so concurs.
Okay.
So, are you done with your presentation, given the drawings that you presented to us, please?
Yes, John.
Okay, excellent. Questions? Don, please. Don Sharp?
The light fixtures you propose, Handelman's light fixtures, seem to me to be a little puny for the spaces that they're in. Do you have dimensions for those?
Yes, we do. They're actually quite large. The top one, I can't see. They're about 12 inches is the actual, the light fixture, but the overall, that's just the light fixture itself. The wall, that first light fixture that you see, it comes in 2 sizes. The larger one will be over the stair, and it actually comes in 3 sizes. We're using the 2 largest sizes, and then the medium size we're going to be using over the entry door.
Okay, thank you.
So they're not they're actually quite large, Don.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else, Don?
No, thank you.
Elida?
No, thank you. No questions.
David?
No questions, John.
Claire?
Is there an exterior landscape lighting plan?
No landscape at all, Claire.
Well, I know there's no landscape plan. I'm just wondering if are they intending to come up with a lighting plan for the outside of the project? Or
I can answer that. No, we're currently not having any proposed landscape lighting on this design.
Okay, thank you.
And I have no questions. Is there anybody attending this Zoom meeting that would like to address the board on item number 8, 490 Ranchito Vista Road, please? Anybody?
John, there's someone who joined the meeting a little bit late.
Okay. Can we figure out who that is? Can you get them turned on, Dave?
Yeah.
David?
Mr. Ginter, did you wish to speak on this item?
No, he's with the applicant. He's with AB Design Studio, so he's just
Okay.
listening in. Thank you.
Excellent. So I'm going to close public comment. Comments, please. We are on for a preliminary final. We have an incomplete set, so no matter what, they're coming back at least to consent. Let's see what the board's up to. Don?
Yes, I think consent is adequate for the final approval.
And you're good with everything else?
Yes.
Elida?
I'm good with the provision of, let's see, a landscape plan.
David?
I think it's a very nice upgrade to that existing house, very thoughtful, and thoroughly well designed, and I can absolutely support it. Of course, and then of course the landscape on consent.
Claire, do you want to take on landscaping on consent, or do you want it on the full board, please?
No, I would like to give this preliminary approval today with the applicant to return with the landscape plan on consent.
Okay, I think I concur with that. What I'd like to do, we are permitted to have 3 members review consent calendar items. Elida, I would like to invite you to the review of this on consent to make sure we get both you and Claire's opinions during that consent calendar. And I'd like to have a motion for preliminary approval with final on consent, including, now, if we do it this way, what we're doing is we're giving the landscape plan preliminary approval without looking at it. I think from a technical.
We're just giving what's being presented today for, we're just, what my intention was to give the project final preliminary approval today with the applicant to return at final with the landscape plan.
Alex, can we bifurcate this project?
Yeah. Claire's correct.
What?
Claire is correct. You're not approving any landscape plan today.
So it would then be agendized for preliminary on the landscape and final?
No, it would just be final approval with the landscape plan.
Okay, very good.
Theoretically, someone, if they wanted to, could appeal the final approval on that basis.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion then, please?
Yeah, well, I just tried to make a motion for, that was my motion, was for preliminary approval with the applicant to return at final on consent with the landscape plan.
Okay,
I will second that.
Okay, any further discussion, please? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nice job, guys.
Thank you, John. Can I have a quick question?
Yep.
What Alex was saying was that he was, this house is, the residential part is for final approval with the house, with the gardens to be at consent. That's what I understood Alex saying.
The only motion at this moment is for
you're getting preliminary approval today.
But you can go into the building department if you're not already there.
Okay, thank you, commissioners.
Do you understand,
Understood.
Eric? Eric, do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we can't, if you want to go back in and reapply and get a new BAR number, you can do what you're asking for. Otherwise, we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we get it wrapped up then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So,
Perfect, thanks.
Is there any other item between the board members, or shall we get a final, shall we get a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3:26, good going, guys. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, John.
Bye. Thanks, John.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.